Welcome to Member Spotlight. Today we have with us Waseem Kawaf of Kawaf LLC. Welcome, Waseem.
Thank you, Kashif. It's a pleasure to be on.
All right. So share with us your journey of how you got to where you are today.
Yeah, so that's a loaded question right there, but I'll get right to it. So I graduated from college with a marketing degree, but ended up working in finance and on the trading floors in London and New York City for 5 years. And then I went back to get my MBA and really fell back in love with marketing and wanted to do that in a full role. And at that time, digital marketing was just kind of coming out and coming to the spotlight. So no companies had digital roles or any of that, but really just fell in love with it. So, graduated from my MBA, took a massive pay cut, and started working on the agency world in digital marketing, building websites, SEO, paid search, so forth. And then got to the point on the agency side where I'd built teams, where we had built offerings, where I had done kind of all the things that I felt were relevant and kind of climbed the mountaintops I wanted to on the agency side. And so I said, hey, look, I'd like to do this transformation, the digital transformation work within a company that's doing good. So went and joined Stanley Black & Decker. They had a healthcare division, and I was the first digital hire there. Really built the transformation for that on the website, on all the digital channel fronts, on the voice of customer side, and then got the opportunity to do it again for Stanley Security, which is a bigger part of the Stanley Black & Decker portfolio. Successfully kind of looped in 20 plus countries, brought in a lot of digital value, commercial value. And then my role kind of switched from pure digital marketing to digital experience, customer experience, insights, user experience. So I was really in charge of those disciplines. And the way I look at it is kind of the plumbing and architecture around all of your technology and all of your go-to-market, those areas. And what we learned when we did that is we had billions of data points where our customers were telling us what we were doing. So we're using the customer as our product and their feedback into building out better product experiences and better commercial experiences end to end. After 7 years at Stanley, I had reached a point where, again, I felt like I had done everything I had wanted to do there. Had become a global VP, had done those roles, had done the transformation. When the company was sold to Securitas, we got it to rebrand. And then I decided, hey, look, the last mountaintop to really climb is creating my own company, working with partners and just building out and learning at scale. So doing the services and offering I did in-house and at an agency, but for companies in a fractional capacity.
Okay. All right. So tell us about the company that you are running right now, agency that you are running. What specific services do you provide?
So specific services are really, when you think about it, it's go-to-market commercialization. And what fits into that bucket that I help with: sales enablement, commercial enablement, looking at your entire technology stack and seeing how we can better optimize it, looking at your sales stack and seeing how we can better optimize it, and really working within the 4 different buckets that we define: people, process, data, and technology. And how do we take your $1 million investments or your, I want to launch a new product, I want to get efficacy, I want things to start working 24/7. That's where you call us in, and we really work with you to drive it. It tends to be middle to bigger size companies that have already made a big enterprise investment in technology and humans.
Okay. So are you focused on any particular industry or company size?
So industry size tends to be at least 500 employees and higher, right? But the primary industries we work with is high tech, medical tech, biotech, and SaaS companies and manufacturing. Those are kind of the sweet spots and where we find the bulk of inbound business coming in.
Okay. All right. Any success stories that you would like to share?
Yeah, I mean, so one of the things we always pride ourselves on whenever we do an engagement, it's being able to drive impactful return on investment. So whenever we take on an engagement, the SOW becomes kind of like the Bible or the Quran of like, what are we trying to drive? Are we all aligned here? How do we drive it? And we're always able to see those metrics and success at the end
Hmm.
if the process is followed. So while I can't share numbers, I will say every engagement is done with an analytical lens and with putting points on the board and moving us further down the field.
Okay, sounds good. And outside of the work, what are your hobbies or interests?
So I love basketball. Been playing basketball since I was 3 years old. I can watch basketball all day, every day. Love it. Music. Have probably over 400 vinyls. I listen to a lot of different genres and types of musics across the
Okay.
world. Travel. Love to travel. And been to a lot of countries. Lived in a lot of different places because I feel like travel really broadens your mind
Mm-hmm.
and your global scape. And then gardening, I love being outdoors. I love planting things. I love seeing things grow. It's kind of my favorite time of year. Always plant a few things. Um, but just like a business, it's nice to see the plants grow and scale. So those are kind of the hobbies and what I do. And obviously spending time with family and friends, biking as well.
Okay, all right, that sounds good. And you came out of on the corporate side, working with a big enterprise and now running your own business. What are some of the lessons that you learned in switching this?
Yeah, so I mean, I think a lot of the things one thinks about, so you look at a global VP role at a Fortune 100 and you think to yourself, okay, you'll be doing a lot of the strat work, you'll be doing a lot of that. And you do a lot of that, but you also do a lot of the politics and what I call the muckraking, which is just all of the things you have to do in the background just to keep the engine running.
Hmm.
When you're running your own business, there's kind of a similar mechanism. Not only are you selling the projects, but if you're doing good work, you're also very involved in the execution of that project, the management of that project, the billing of that project, and all elements involved. So, I think one of the big takeaways is the work is only maybe half of it, and the
Hmm.
rest of it is all of the things that live in that ecosystem to make that work successful and scalable.
Okay, all right. Any piece of advice that you would give to fellow entrepreneurs?
Test and iterate and work hard with it, right? So I've seen really smart people fail, and I've seen really remedial people succeed. So it's one of those things that if your vision is big enough and your luck is
Hmm.
right, and your persistence is there, you can get there, right? So it's not about luck is at least a third, if not half of
Hmm.
it. And that's a hard lesson in life, right? Timing is everything. Um, so you could have the best idea in the world, but if the market's not ready for it, if you haven't connected with the right people,
Hmm.
you won't get there. But also, I say stay humble and hungry, right? Um, the world has a way of humbling us. We tend to be prisoners of our own thought processes.
Uh-huh.
So, connecting with a lot of people, working with a lot of different people, um, and just testing yourself and challenging yourself
Hmm.
and stress testing and understanding also where your floor is and where your ceiling is, right? I think that's one of the most important lessons when you start a business is for a floor, what do I need in order to succeed? Like, what's the vast minimum things I have to hit in this quarter in order to be successful, right?
Yeah.
And the ceiling is what are those stretch goals that I'm really after? You really need both.
Hmm.
But if you don't have a floor, you'll never get to your ceiling.
Yes, yes, definitely. No, thank you for sharing that wisdom with us, and thank you for being a member at AMCOB.
Thank you,
Really
Kasha.
appreciate
Appreciate you and appreciate all the great events.
all right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Sonicum.
Alaikum assalam. Take care.